Thanks, Paul, for the introduction, and good evening, everyone. Really appreciate you joining this call, and really excited for you to meet these three players. When we started the process, we really were focused, obviously, on highly skilled players. We think we've got three incredible athletes, but even more important for us as an organization, as a franchise starting anew, we really wanted to focus on the culture that we're building and lay a very strong foundation. And again, in doing our due diligence and talking to people around the league and talking to teammates and talking to opposition, we really zeroed in on these three players. We've heard incredible things about them as teammates. We've heard incredible things about them as leaders. We believe they have an incredible work ethic, compete level. And so those are factors that were at the top of our list. And so we're thrilled with the three players that we have joining us, and excited for you guys to have a chance to meet them and wait for the fans in Ottawa to meet them. I think that's even more exciting. I think they're going to have a really great presence in the community.
Thanks, Mike. Before we open to questions, I'll ask each of the ladies to just share a few opening remarks about their excitement for their signing and perhaps a little bit of what the days brought them. This trio is all a very decorated group of Canadian Olympians, 2022 gold medalists in particular. Let's begin with Emily Clark. Emily, please go ahead and just share a few thoughts about what it means to sign in Ottawa.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Well, first off, welcome everyone. I'm super excited to obviously be in front of you, and looking forward to all your questions. But it's honestly hard to put into words still. I think all of us in our tweets reference that this is just a dream come true, and it's truly that, and it's been that all day. It's been exciting to share with family and friends and people that mean the most to us and have gotten us here. But definitely just been soaking in the day, and could not be happier to be a part of the Ottawa PWHL franchise, and especially alongside two teammates. I've been teammates with Emerance and Brianne for almost 10 years now with the national team, so couldn't be more happy to be doing this alongside both of them.
Thanks, Emily. I mentioned the 2022 Olympic team. MVP of that event was Brianne Jenner. Brianne, maybe just a few words about the excitement this day's brought you.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Yeah, it's a dream come true. I know Clarky said it, but this was something that, we've been working towards for years, to have an opportunity like this, to be able to sign a professional contract and to land in a city like Ottawa. I'm thrilled, my family's thrilled, and to embark on this journey with two amazing teammates, amazing people, and talented hockey players is just so exciting. And I think it's an exciting day for the three of us and for PWHL Ottawa, but I think it's also exciting for our entire sport. We wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for generations of talented and hardworking hockey players that came before us that got us to this point. So it's pretty exciting that we're able to have this news today and to see the buzz around the hockey world. It's wonderful. And like I said, a true dream come true.
Thanks, Brianne. Both Brianne and Emily are, of course, forwards, and rounding out the trio is goaltender Emerance Maschmeyer. Emerance, your thoughts and excitement on today's signing?
Yeah, Brianne and Emily, they've said it best, and it really is a dream come true. I think it's been such a whirlwind for all of us. I'm incredibly grateful and thrilled to be joining Ottawa's organization. It's such an honor to be one of the first ever selected players joining the PWHL. And like Brianne said, it's important that we recognize the significant role that past players and pioneers of women's hockey have had. And, we're at this point of growth and support in women's hockey because of, those players and supporters from both the present and the past. So this really is a dream come true. I'm excited to, hit the ice running in Ottawa. I'm sure the other two are feeling the same way. We just cannot wait for the season to start.
Thank you all. We'll now take your questions, folks. For those that have a question, please use your Zoom console to raise your digital hand. I'll call on you individually. When I do call your name, please unmute and proceed with your question, but also kindly introduce yourself and the outlet that you're representing. It just helps us build this great community and get to know one another. I see a lot of questions. I want to rest assured to everybody that we're going to try our best to get through them all. If we can limit ourselves to maybe just one or two follow-ups, so we can get through at least everybody first and foremost. We'll make sure we have time for everybody to have an opportunity. And also kindly, please be sure to voice who you are directing your question to, whether it's to Emily, Emerance, Brianne, or Mike. We'll start questions with Erica Ayala, please.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to PWHL Ottawa. It's exciting, as you all said. First question, though, I have is actually for Michael. Can you give us some insight on to what the process was once free agency opened for the Ottawa club, and how you went about seeking the first three players that you've introduced to us?
Thanks, Erica. Great question. Yeah, everything opened up at 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon. We had these three players right at the top of our list as our targets. Obviously, we talked to them. We talked to a bunch of other players around the league, but this was our focus, and we wanted to land these three players. There's, again, lots of negotiation that goes back and forth, conversations about our organization. Really did our best to sell ourselves to them, talk to them about the opportunity here in Ottawa, the fan base, the hockey culture, the hockey history. And again, we feel fortunate that we're able to convince them to come and play for us. So it was a process. It doesn't happen, at a snap of a fingers. But again, we felt like we really put our due diligence in on the players we wanted, the type of leadership we were looking for. And again, it was an easy decision for us on the players that we wanted to target.
And Brianne, I would like to ask you a little bit about what the process was like for you. Have you worked with an agent or someone that was able to help you kind of broker a deal with PWHL Ottawa? Also forgot to introduce, I'm Erica Ayala with CBS Sports. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, I do have an agency that I work with, CAA, and Dominique did an awesome job helping me navigate this. Obviously, not many of us in our sport have ever been in this situation before, so it was pretty surreal and exciting to go through that process. And like Mike said, it was a lot of conversations back and forth, and just kind of getting to know the Ottawa organization, getting to know Mike, and vice versa, and making sure that it would be a great fit. And we're thrilled.
Pardon me, I was muted myself. Thanks, Erica. We'll take our next one from Donna Spencer, please.
Hi, I'll direct this one to Emily. Sorry, Donna Spencer, Canadian Press. NHL players do this every summer when free agency starts on July 1st, and players have to consider team location, contract, term, and salary. How novel was it for you to have to sort of run through that checklist in determining where you're going to play?
Thanks for the question, Donna. Yeah, obviously this is new to us. This is stuff that we hear all the time, being fans of the NHL, terms that are very familiar, but have never really applied to us yet. So I think going into everything, honestly, I was just trying to enjoy the moment, leaning on people that maybe are more familiar with the process, and just trying to learn as much as I can going in. Obviously my agent Brent Feldman was a huge help and huge resource in helping me, take different things into consideration and reflect on what it is that I want out of this experience. And I can tell you, after my first phone call with Michael, I think every box was checked, and I just couldn't be more thrilled that the feeling was mutual, and I'm on this call today.
Donna, we'll take the next question from Sylvain Saint Laurent.
Yes, hi, I'm Sylvain Saint Laurent from Le Droit, Ottawa's French language daily newspaper. I guess first question could be for Emily. Video came up from Hockey Canada a couple hours ago, just shot just before your 100th career game. And funny enough, both of your Ottawa teammates were the one who presented you the golden helmet. So we know about your individual accomplishments. Can you maybe tell us about the bond that already exists between the three of you?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Great question, and something that I couldn't help but reflect on when I found out that it'd be the three of us. That was obviously a super special day for me, getting the golden helmet, and to have someone like Brianne and Emerance, who I think so highly of and have had a long history as their teammates, be the ones to present that to me, just made it even more special. And obviously there's quite a bond between us. And I think all three of us think super highly of each other. I think that we have very similar values. And I think just being able to have honestly grown up with Emerance, it's extremely special for the two of us, especially being roommates and going into Hockey Canada program at the same time. And then with Brianne, honestly, I started off as a fan of Brianne, like many girls that watched that 2014 final. So to transition to her teammate over the last 10 years and now get to start something like this from scratch with her, I can't even put into words really, but I can tell you that if I was Michael, I think I would honestly have hoped to land on these two as well. But yeah, great picks. I'm excited to start with them.
Thank you. And maybe as a follow-up, Brianne, in this video, you call Emily, if I'm not mistaken, the heartbeat of the team. I was wondering if maybe you could expand on that and tell us why exactly you said that.
How long do we have? There's so many things that I could say about Clarky. I think, you know, what I was getting at in that video is she's somebody who, no matter what's going on in her game or her world, she's there for us. If she's in a slump, which rarely ever happens, never happens, she's still the same teammate to us. She still puts in the same work day after day. She's just the most consistent teammate and performer. And at the same time, when she's flying high, like she often is, there's so much humility to her. There's no cockiness, nothing like that. She's Emily, and she brings that work ethic and that care for her teammates day after day. So I think that's what I was getting at with the heartbeat of the team. But there's so many things that Clarky brings to a team, and I think we're just so lucky to have her.
We'll take the next question from Haley Salvian, please.
Thanks, Paul. Haley Salvian from The Athletic. I guess I'll direct this to Emerance. Obviously, you've been on the national team for a long time, had a long career, Harvard, CWHL, PWHPA. So this isn't new to you, but what does it mean to you to kind of step into this opportunity as the #1 goalie with Ottawa and be the first goalie that we've seen signed in this new league?
I think you're making me sound a little bit old by mentioning all those years of experience.
Experience.
Experience. No, it means a lot. I think, I think Brianne and Emily have touched on it. I think that we have a really good core here, and we all value very similar things. I think we have an emphasis on team culture, and that's what really drew me in when Mike, talked about team culture on our phone calls. And I knew by him signing Emily, I said, you're on the right track. So I think we're all on the same page when it comes to that. We want to build a good character team, a team that's skilled and gritty at the same time, one that commits to the process and will value each member. It's important that everyone buys in and owns their role. And I think that we're going to work hard and make sure that we become a championship caliber team, but also have a ton of fun while doing it. But it definitely means a lot to, as a goaltender, I pride myself in being consistent in the net and also off the ice in my demeanor. And so I think that I'll bring that to this team and hopefully lead by example and step in when needed.
And I guess to ask a follow-up for Emily, Brianne just talked about, what you bring to a team, and Emerance obviously talked about what you bring to team culture. I'm curious if you can share with us the kind of leadership that somebody like Brianne Jenner brings to a team and what it means to have her as one of these foundational pieces with you in Ottawa.
Yeah, like Brianne started, how much time do we have? I think, honestly, there could be a book written about Brianne and her leadership. I think I've been super lucky to be able to learn from her, observe her over the last 10 years. She's definitely someone that I've looked up to ever since being on her team. I think there's so many things about her that make her an amazing leader. For one, I think her demeanor and consistency, exactly what you're going to get from her every single game, every single practice. To her care, obviously she's been a mom for 2 years now, but She's been a mom figure and care, like just has that innate care, and has had that for a long time. So I think just that genuine care to make sure everyone is good, feeling comfortable, feeling confident. And I think just the respect that she gives every single person. You know, she's had an amazing career, but has remained the most humble person you can meet, and makes everyone else feel valued and appreciated around her. And I'm still talking, and I haven't even talked about her on ice abilities once yet. This is all just her as a person. So it doesn't get much better than Brianne Jenner, that's for sure.
Thanks, Haley. We'll take next two questions. We'll go Elias, followed by Zoe, please.
Hey guys, can you guys hear me? Elias Lorati from here in Montreal. Maybe a question for all three of you. When the idea of playing in Ottawa came first to you, what was the first initial reaction?
I guess I can start. I mean, I've always loved Ottawa as a city. I actually have family there, so it's become kind of like a third home to me. So right away, Ottawa was an attractive city. And then after speaking with Mike and just seeing how much we had in common about what we believed in our values in a team, it was a no-brainer for me. But I think, you know, all three of us have actually had the opportunity to play in Ottawa a little bit over the last Olympic year. And we got to learn that Ottawa is a hockey city. So I know we're all incredibly excited to play in front of a hockey crowd.
Yeah, for me, it was similar. I mean, Ottawa, I think, is an amazing city. And I have some great family friends there and support network there. So I think it's exciting as well for my family. And, you know, playing there in a packed crowd at TD Place just a few seasons ago, I think just great memories from there. And we're so excited to kind of build that fan base and can go to work for the city of Ottawa. So we're thrilled, and I think it's going to be a fantastic spot.
Yeah, similar to Emerance and Brianne, even before free agency began, I think the idea of ending up in Ottawa really excited me. Like both Emerance and Brie mentioned, leading up to the 22 Olympics, we spent quite a bit of time there, playing the US and also playing in the U18 Challenge Cup. So even in a few short weeks that we spent there, like the vibe of the city, getting to spend a little bit of time by the market, driving by the canal, like all these things that are very much make up Ottawa. I'm just excited to be there and be a part of the community. And like Emerance said, the crowds that we have played in Ottawa have been loud. So we know this is a hockey city and a strong hockey fan base. So I'm looking forward to being a part of the community and feeling that this season.
And Mike, if I can just ask a follow-up, did you have all three at the same time, or did you make separate phone calls initially during the process?
They were all three were at the top of our list. We talked to them throughout the day on Friday and into Saturday morning. So some things came together more quickly than others, but yeah, they were right at the top of the list of the players that we were targeting. So again, the fact that we came away with all three on our, in our franchise, on our team, absolutely thrilled about it.
Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Take Zoe and then Ian Kennedy, please. Go ahead,
Hi, everyone.
Zoe.
Can everyone hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. So this is Zoe Hayden from the Victory Press. My question is for Michael. Since you announced your signings first, you get the opportunity to answer this more general question about the player signing process. I understand that contract terms are not being disclosed per the Players Association, but are you able to say whether the PWHL PA and prospective players and their agents will have access to a database of this information internally?
I'll be honest, I don't know the answer to that. That's a question probably more better directed at the league. So I don't know the answer, Zoe.
Okay, thank you. If I can also ask a question for Brianne, what does it mean to have this influx of new resources and funding in the sport at this point in your career? Not a lot of players have had the opportunity in the past to play into their 30s at a high level. And do you see that that's something that's probably going to become more common in the future?
I mean, this is what we dreamt of when we wanted to build a truly professional, sustainable league is the resources. And I mean, what the ownership group has put into this and the thought and the investment in us, it's so exciting. And I think we're just going to see our sport take off even more. I think we're going to see the level of play, future generations just go up and up. I think we're going to see the interest go up and up. It's monumental. I mean, it feels monumental for us three in a day like this, but it's so much bigger than us. It's going to change our whole sport for the better.
Thank you so much.
Ian, followed by Kenzie, please.
Hi, everybody. Ian Kennedy from the Hockey News. My first question is for Michael. I'm wondering, there was such a plethora of goaltenders available, and I'm wondering about your decision-making to choose to sign a goaltender rather than waiting for the draft, and in particular, what it was about Emerance that made you want to snap her up so early.
Hi, Ian. Great question. Yeah, I mean, we've done our due diligence. We've looked at all the potential goalies out there, and we really believe she's one of the best goalies in the world. And so that was, really exciting for us to get her on our team. I think, we talked earlier about all the experience she's had, but she's, in her career, we think she's heading into the prime years of her career, and her best goaltending is ahead of her. So we're super excited about that. And again, I've talked about it many times, but we talked in our doing our due diligence around the league. We talked to a lot of people, and they raved about her personality. They raved about her as a teammate and as a leader. And again, that was critically important for us. So all of those factors went into the decision. But again, we're thrilled with her, and we think her best hockey is ahead of her, and excited to have her on our team.
Thanks, Michael. My follow-up goes to Emerance, and it's kind of a spin-off of that exact same question. Obviously, many international caliber goaltenders, NCAA stars coming out. For you, what does it mean to get that spot now rather than having to wait? And what can you say about the goaltending depth that's out there still in the league?
Yeah, I guess going into this process, I didn't know what the outcome would be in terms of where goalies, when they would generally be getting picked up. I'm thrilled to be signing before the draft, of course, and having that security. And but like you said, there's a great depth of goaltending. You can look down the line in Canada and the US, and it's incredible. So it really is an honor to be, a goalie that's been chosen in the free agency period. It really is an honor. But like you said, there's some stiff competition out there. There's no doubt about that.
Thanks, everybody, and congratulations.
Thanks, Ian. We'll go Kenzie Lalonde, followed by Scott Roblin.
Yeah, hi, everyone. Kenzie Lalonde with TSN. Michael, I'll just start with you. And I do believe you've commented on this recently, but I don't recall being a part of the answer. Just I wanted to touch base with you on where you are at in your head coaching search at this time. Yeah,
it's obviously I come from a background of coaching. I know a lot about coaches. It's something that we've been very deliberate about in our process. We want to make sure that we get the right person. So we're not rushing to make a decision. We've really focused in on someone who's a communicator. We want someone who's a teacher and a mentor, someone who has great background in skills development. So we're going through the process. We have a couple of candidates we're talking to. We hope to have some news within the next couple of days. But we're not there yet. But again, I think when we announce our head coach, you're going to be really impressed. I'm really excited about the candidates that we're talking to.
Awesome. And then I guess to piggyback off of Emerance and this theme of goaltending right now, have you had a chance to pick out new equipment or new designs for your pads or mask at all?
Well, it's been a little bit interesting in the way that we don't technically have the team name or the colors yet. So I think that I have to hold off for a little while longer before I design, but I'm itching at it. Believe me, that's one of my favorite parts of being a goalie.
I guess my last question, I will direct this to you, Brianne, but Emily, feel free to chime in as well. The last time you guys would have played at TD Place would have been that game against the United States leading up to Beijing in November of 2021. And that was a sold out crowd. The energy was electric during the rivalry series. So that would have been the last time you guys, in my understanding, would have been in the building. What do you remember about that game, and how excited are you to get back into TD Place?
Very excited. Yeah, and I remember it was a loud crowd. I think that was the first time we had played at home in front of a crowd in like maybe 3 years because of the pandemic. So great memories there. And the whole facility was amazing. There's so much space there with the Red Blacks and the 67. So it's an exciting venue. I don't know where our team's going to be yet, but if that is home, then that's a great spot. But I think just being in the city of Ottawa, we're itching for that puck drop in January to get in front of those fans and earn their respect and compete for a championship on the city's behalf.
Thanks, Kenzie. We'll go Scott, followed by Simon, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, and congratulations, guys. Scott Robling, Global Saskatoon. This is for Emily. The reports are coming out now of some of the other players that are being signed, but for you personally, Emily, what does it mean to you to be part of this very first group of players ever to be announced by the PWHL?
Well, first off, hi, Scott. It's been a minute since we've chatted. Obviously very familiar with you. Like Brianne and Em have both said, like, this is just such a monumental day in women's hockey. A lot of history has been written over the past couple of weeks and will continue to be over the next season. But I think something I'm just so excited about is, to be one of the first for this franchise, and something that I think the three of us will take a lot of pride in, wanting to lay a strong foundation for what it means to be, part of the PWHL in Ottawa, whatever our team name ends up being. But I think I'm most excited to really the opportunity to build that culture and foundation for this team for years to come.
And just as a follow-up to Emily as well, to have, the last couple of years have been so uncertain in terms of the future of women's hockey, where the league was going to be, where games are going to be played. What does it mean to you now to have certainty here in Ottawa?
Yeah, it means everything. I mean, it's been a long time coming for sure. And as Em and Bree both mentioned, it's hard not to think about the people that got us here, the people that have been there for the last couple of years, the people who may not see the rewards themselves but had a hand in this, and then the players that were the pioneers that could only dream to have had this opportunity. So it's hard not to think about everyone that had a hand in getting here, and definitely something that we will not take for granted to be able to be a part of.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, guys.
Here we'll go from Simon to Alex Azzi, please.
Hi, folks. Simon Hopkins. I'm a journalist based here in Ottawa. Michael, I'll start with a question for you. When we spoke on Zoom with a news conference like this last week, you said that the team you were hoping to build would be skills-based, gritty, and dynamic. Can you tell me a bit about how these players fit that bill, and why you thought they would best suit a foundation for that team?
Well, I think, again, all three of them demonstrate those three characteristics that you were talking about. So obviously they're incredible players on the ice, incredible leaders off the ice. So we feel like we checked all the boxes, and again, super excited to have them on board with us.
And then I'll just follow up a bit with the players. Obviously, contract negotiations is a two-way street. You spoke a bit about the hockey scene in Ottawa, it being a grid city. But what about Michael and the organization attracted you to signing this contract and made you say, this is where I want to go?
I think Emerance spoke a bit to this, but for me, the emphasis on culture and environment, I think that's going to be integral to building a franchise, especially in year one. We want to be a team that competes for a championship, but we also want to be a team where, players and coaches are excited to be a part of it, and really create something special. So to hear that was important to Michael was really reassuring to me.
Yeah, I can just add to what Brianne said. And Em touched on earlier, I think the biggest selling feature was the emphasis on the culture and, the things that we want to do in the community and all those things that really mattered. And then secondary, I was also very excited, obviously, about the kind of play that Michael's described, that he wants our team gritty and dynamic. I think all of us right away probably check those boxes and are excited to play that kind of style. And yeah, I'm excited to do that with Brianne and Em. I know gritty's not always a word that's used to describe goalies, but I can tell you Em is a prairie girl that definitely encompasses that, and something that is maybe underrated or maybe unseen on the day-to-day. With Em specifically, I think just the compete that she brings every day to practice. I know that she likes to have fun with it and have fun competing. That's something that Brianne also brings every day. But you know, Em isn't afraid to let you know if she's having a better day in net than you are shooting on her, and that's just part of the fun. But I would say that when you talk about grit and being dynamic, I think all three of us check those boxes and are excited to play that way.
Yeah, thank you. And a quick yes or no to sort of tag onto that. Did you know who the other players signing in Ottawa were when you were signing, and was that part of your decision?
Okay, I'll start. We're all silent. I had known that Emily signed before me, and so I was extremely happy to hear that. And it definitely drew me in even further, because I knew that if Mike were to pick someone like Emily, then he's definitely doing his homework. So, I mean, clearly we all really like each other here, as you can tell. But yeah, so I knew about Emily. I didn't know about Brianne yet.
Thanks, Simon. We'll take next one from Alex, followed by Carol.
Hi, thanks so much for taking the time tonight. Alex Azzi with the Messenger. Mike, I'll direct this to you. I've heard you several times tonight refer to we, both in terms of choosing the players, but also the head coach selection process. Can you shine a light on who's included in we?
There's a team behind me that's helping me out. Obviously, a lot has happened in the last week. We've had to make some decisions very quickly and do some research, quickly. So I'd prefer not to, but I can tell you there are people who have deep roots in women's hockey, and again have a lot of expertise in this area. So we'll announce that down the road, but at this point, I'd prefer to keep that to myself.
Well, Carol, followed by Carissa, please.
Thank you. It's Carol Schramm here from the Hockey News. Congratulations to all of you. I'm excited about this big day. Brianne, you were the captain of the Calgary Inferno when Emerance was on her way out of Harvard and just joining the CWHL for the first time. I'm wondering what you remember about her at that stage of her career, sort of first impressions. I know you would have known her a bit from the national team, but it'd be fun to go back.
Yeah, well, first I remember when we were together with the Inferno, I liked it a lot more than when I played against her. That's for sure. I think what comes to mind when I think of Mash as a goalie and what sets her apart, I think her work ethic and practice day in and day out, and you see that translate to games. She's so consistent. You just feel so confident playing in front of her, and no matter who you're playing, you got a chance to win if Mashy's in net. But the interesting thing too about Mashy is most goalies are really weird, and she's so normal. Like she's like a normal teammate. But she's like I said, the work ethic, the leadership, like she checks every box. And I like I said, I'm thrilled that I don't have to go against her. I get to go against her in practice, which will make me better. But not having to go against her is a great plus.
That's great. And Emerance, I was digging around and I did find one quirky fact on you that I wanted to ask you about. Sorry. I saw that you like to sing to yourself when you're in net. And so I was just wondering what you're singing today.
Oh, you really did your homework, didn't you? Yeah, I tend to have like a song in my head during a game. I guess that is a little weird now that I'm saying it out loud. But it kind of keeps me in the moment. As a goalie, there's a lot going on and we're on the ice for 60 minutes. So for whatever reason, that kind of keeps me in the moment and not thinking about distractions outside. But yeah, it's a little weird. You're right.
And any song today?
Today? No, just game days. Not training days, don't worry.
All right, thanks so much.
Carissa, and then Melissa Burgess, please.
Hey guys, Carissa Donkin with CBC. Congratulations to all of you. I know it's a huge day. Question for Emily and Emerance about Brianne. So you talked a lot about her, leadership and what she brings in that area. Just wondering if you could talk a little bit about her skills on the ice. So her playmaking, her composure, her shot. I know Emerance, you've seen that like going back to the Ivy League days. So what makes her special in that area?
Yeah, I think it's funny when hearing Brianne talk about me. I'm like, I'm the same way. I'm so happy that she's on my team and I'm not having to face her. And she definitely does make me a lot better, practicing against her every day. But like you said, I did face her back in college years and then have played against her many times. And she's an incredibly smart player. She sees the game so well. Obviously you can see it that she's skilled, but she also works so hard, and we're using the word gritty, but she is also very gritty. She's reliable. I feel like she's always doing the right thing at the right time. So, and aside from that, her leadership, everything off the ice, she's really the full package. So I'm excited that she'll be playing in front of me this year.
Yeah, just to add on what Emerance was saying, I think Jenner's a hockey IQ, and the way she thinks the game is incredible. She makes passes that I don't think anyone else in the building sees but her. She's obviously an extremely fun player to play with, very creative. And I think something else that makes her an incredible player is her consistency and her ability to treat every game as just her game. Like, exactly what she's going to bring. Obviously, she's does a lot more than just score goals, but she scored some pretty big goals, especially for Canada in recent years and in the past. So I think just that clutchness you can't teach, and I think it comes from just her treating every game with the same intent and her will and compete and want to win every single game.
And just to follow up for you, Brianne, you've talked about how this is something you've been dreaming about, for years. So just wondering if you could talk a little bit about what that looked like in your dreams, and then, walk us through actually putting pen to paper today or whenever that was in the last few days when you were actually able to sign that contract.
Well, it's tough to answer. I mean, when I was growing up in the game, I dreamed of playing for Team Canada because that's what I saw on TV. I didn't think something like this was possible. And it's so exciting that that's never going to be a thought for any other young player. Like they're gonna dream of playing for Ottawa or New York or Montreal, and that's what they're gonna grow up thinking of. So it's honestly, it just feels so surreal that we got here. It was a challenging road, but we believed from the get-go that this was possible. We found amazing partners in this ownership group that believed in us and wanted to invest in us, and to see it all come together. And I know we all kind of wish it came together earlier, but I think it's come together at the right moment, the perfect moment. The excitement around women's sports has never been greater. The buzz around women's hockey, I don't think it's ever been greater. So we're just going to keep this momentum going and roll with it to January, and we're going to hopefully fill that rink in Ottawa.
Thanks, Chris. So we'll go now to Melissa and then Elaine, please.
Hi, Melissa Burgess from the Victory Press. I just have a few questions. First question for Mike. I know Haley Salvian reported this on Twitter, but I just want to see if you could confirm that Emily was officially the first signing for the Ottawa franchise, because that's going to be a trivia question someday.
Yeah, Emily was she was our first call and our first signing. Yes, that's correct.
And also for Michael, so now that you've got your first 3 free agents, what is your main goal heading into the draft now?
Yeah, we're just digging into all of the players that are eligible for the draft. The list just became final as of midnight on September 3rd. So we're doing all of our work, trying to get to know the players, want to talk to them directly, learn about what they're looking for out of this opportunity, what drives them, are they excited to come to Ottawa, those types of things. So we're working on our list so that we're ready for the draft on September 18th. And then we'll be adding another 15 players to go along with these three. So we're super excited. The team will be much closer to completion at that point.
And just my last question is for Emerance. Congrats on getting married earlier this summer. So going into this free agency, I'm just curious if you feel comfortable sharing anything about what the conversations were like in your household going into free agency. Do you foresee playing against each other? Obviously I know you've played against each other in the past, but this is maybe a little different because it's a little bit longer term. Or would you have considered applying for the compassionate circumstance waiver or anything like that?
So actually it's news that she won't be playing in the league. So our conversation in our household was just trying to find the best fit for us and what makes sense for our family. And Ottawa was right at the top of the list there. So yeah, it's worked out. We're happy with where we've landed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. We'll take Elaine, and then we're going to wrap up with final follow-ups from Erica, Carol, and Haley.
Hi, I'm Elaine Shercliffe from Full Press Hockey. This question is for Michael. Moving forward, are these three are you going to lean on them a little bit in creating the roster? And are we getting a quick glimpse of who the leadership might be this season?
I'll answer the second part first. Yes, absolutely. These are the leaders, and that's why we signed them first. We want them to be the foundation of our group. And of course, it would be crazy for us not to talk to them and get their opinion on the players we're thinking about drafting. So yes, they will be involved in the process. That's my leadership style. I'm very collaborative. And again, it's important to us that they feel comfortable with who their teammates will be.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Go ahead, please, Erica.
Thank you. Michael, coming to you again as well. I know you said that you're not quite ready to announce your staff, but can you give us a sense of how many people you're working with and just kind of a little bit of what their day-to-day will be and how that's helped you in free agency and how it'll help you in the draft?
Yeah, we've got two people that are helping me out, and it's just a lot of due diligence, to be honest with you. Again, we're just digging into all of the players, learning more about them, learning about their personal situations, their family, what drives them, what type of teammates they are. So there's two people helping us now, and again, it's been a good team. We're really happy with what we've accomplished to this point.
And the expectation is that these people will stay on, or are they kind of just helping with the recruitment process?
That's to be determined, to be honest. We're really focused on the draft. Everything's come at us very quickly. I just started a week ago. We've already had free agency. We've got the draft in 2 weeks. So again, we'll see where it ends up, but they're here to help me in the short term. And if they want to stay on longer, we definitely like to have that conversation with them. So we'll see. But again, no announcements in this forum.
Thank you.
Go ahead, please, Carol.
Thanks. This question's for Michael. You touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'm wondering if you can elaborate a little bit on just having only these 3 free agency spots. Why did you think that it was important to use one of those spots on your franchise goaltender?
Well, again, we were looking at it from a couple of different angles. One was the leadership and the culture. I think we've talked a lot about that. I don't need to go in that again. But again, talking to players, doing our due diligence, we really believe that it's important to have a goalie that the team feels confidence in and believes in. And again, when we were doing our due diligence on Emerance, we heard great things about her as a player. And again, we're excited. We think she's got great years ahead of her. She had a great career, but everyone's can continue to grow and get better, and we're excited. We think she's one of the best goalies in the world, and we're excited to have her lead our team in that regard.
And Emerance, I guess, how does that make you feel? What does the label franchise goaltender feel like sitting on your shoulders, and how eager are you to sort of be leading the way for this team?
Yeah, I mean, I'm incredibly humbled and honored to kind of get that title. I mean, like Michael said, I think that I have the best years of hockey ahead of me, and I've never been hungrier to improve my game and compete and play and win a championship. And we haven't gotten to play in a league in a while now, so like I said, I'm hungrier than ever.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Wrap with one more follow-up from Haley, please.
Thanks, Paul. Sorry to pop up again. I'm just kind of curious, and this is for the three players here. Maybe I can start with Brianne. Who's got the edge in the biggest rival category? Is it a Battle of Ontario, Toronto, or Montreal?
I think it probably depends on how those first games go. If there's a little messiness after the whistle or something like that. But I think it's exciting where we are geographically. Like we might have two rivalries going. Obviously, the Battle of Ontario is a big thing. But being so close to Montreal, I feel like there might be some Ottawa fans at Montreal games and vice versa. So I'm excited for both.
Emily, do you agree? Or do you think like Toronto is going to be your most hated team?
Well, I'm with Bree. We'll let a couple of games go before we use the word hated. But yeah, I mean that's the stuff that we've been itching to get at. Like that's the fun. That's what makes hockey fun. So I think Em touched on it recently too. Like it's been a while since we've played true league hockey. Probably since college, outside of our centralization years, for me at least. So yeah, I'm just excited to go to work every day with the same team, prepare for games, and we'll see. We'll have to circle back to the rivalry, but I think it will come pretty soon.
Do you think the switch flips quickly there? Like I know it does when you were playing like with Americans, and then you go to like a world championships, and it's just like, yeah, I don't care where we play together. Do you think that'll happen with your Canadian teammates?
In regards to playing against, like
yes,
the switch
against each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I think a question that came up a lot this previous season, the PWHPA, was what was it like playing with Americans like that for the first time? And I think the more interesting question was what was it like playing against some of your Canadian teammates? So yeah, I would say it's definitely a switch that flips pretty easily. I think all of us are competitors, and when it comes to being on the ice, personal relationships or past teammates, it doesn't really matter. You want to win for whatever jersey you're wearing. So I think it's a switch that flips pretty quickly.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Haley, and thanks everybody for your participation and your questions.